Beautiful day in the neighborhood. Thursday, June 17th. My thing says it's cloudy. We'll see when I get outside. Good morning, it's Barbara. Thank you for joining me for coffee. Not a cloud in the sky. Gorgeous. Gorgeous, another beautiful day, just like yesterday. I asked Dennis yesterday if he was going to mow. He says, oh no, it's too nice. I'm waiting for a day when I don't want to sit out on the deck. Retirement. So his plan is to mow tomorrow. I planted all my flowers yesterday. And I repotted the lily that sits in the house, but it's outside at the moment. And I don't know if you can see them. Probably not. But some of the impatiens were really, really tiny. But we will see if I end up with anything. It's more likely you'll see things down at the bottom than the window. But we'll see. But I did a little painting of them yesterday. So this is my first painting. This was sitting here, these were the impatiens waiting to be planted. And this is what the window box looked like beforehand. And this is what my drawing thinks it looks like after. But the flowers are small, so I'll do another one of the shed later. Oh, but I forgot. I took a little video last night. I did a little tour last night, so I will show you that now. So I told you I'd give you a little tour. We ended up replanting our lily, which hasn't been looking so good. And I was surprised that the roots didn't go all the way to the bottom of the pot. And I think maybe I need to do some research on these and see if they don't like a wet feet, because it could be that like the roots at the bottom were rotted. That it had been in its pot for 4 or 5 years, so, and it was still in the pot we bought it in. So that's not good. Dennis did not mow today. He's waiting for a less lovely day, frankly, interestingly. So here's my window box, looking dirty. And there's the moss. It's so cool. Now I could wash the front of it. It would look better. But I just finished. And I put some of the impatiens down here. This was the big impatient that I had in the box that I took out. This white one was too. And then I have 2 more little ones. I hope those little ones survive. They're pretty puny, some of them. We shall see. And then a couple more. And then there's the poor sad plant that Maisie ate the other day. And here's the other box with the purple flowers, which are beautiful. And these are, when I first got this shed, the guy said, no, you can't have flowers. So I made glass flowers that I had in this for a while, but I moved them into the powder room. So I don't have my glasses on, so I don't know if this is focused enough, but here's the moss on this one. It is the coolest stuff. I mean, really amazing. So I had thought that I was going to clean these off and sharpen them up and make them nice and light, but I'm not. I'm leaving the moss. Those are plastic, so I don't think the moss is going to hurt it. So I worked in my garden today. Hey, so I just told Dennis it's crazy. You know, I say I'm going to do something on my vlog, and then I actually do it, and it really feels good. So these in between are stilbies, as you may be able to tell. So hopefully the impatiens thrive, and we get some color in our background for our vlogs. Because it was reminded, somebody said something about the moss, and I took, I hope I got some close-ups of the moss, so you can see how cool it is. The window box is plastic, according to Dennis, so I don't think the moss can do any damage to the window box. And he says that if it does, we'll just put new window boxes. He's all about keeping the moss, so I'm good with that. I'm keeping the moss. So anyway, that was nice. And, you know, I rediscovered the joy of saying you're going to do something and then actually doing it. I had to run over to Aura's last night, so I missed my knit night. But she's fine. Everything's fine. She just needed a little help. And so I did not knit yesterday. But I did those paintings, sketches that I just showed you. And I read a couple of books. I read a whole book in the evening. I felt like reading. But I got this book and I did it. It was on a picture on Instagram, and this is by Gabrielle Campanario, who is an urban sketcher. And what it is a compilation of urban sketchers from around the world. And, you know, and their sketches. You know, I just lost my place. You know, and different people, you know, kind of specialize in different things. And anyway, they sketch their place. And so this just goes from city to city, Victoria, Seattle. They do, you know, and he talks a little bit of style and everything. But the reason that I am even showing you this is in Buenos Aires, the artist is Norberto Dorantes, who I hadn't heard of before. Does that look familiar? I'll put it over here and then I'll put my picture up. This is taken from almost exactly the same spot that I took my picture in Boca and have been painting my picture. He is slightly pointed, slightly left from where I'm pointed, but it's almost exactly the same spot. He's standing in almost exactly the same spot that I was when I took that picture. He doesn't have the bust on the right, and he has a little bit more of the pink building on the left. So his view is slightly different than mine. That's exactly what I've been painting. I was like, Dennis, look! He says, I drew with quick strokes, trying to capture the color and texture of the street. I applied the ink while the watercolor was still wet, allowing it to merge with the water to create certain effects that blur the form. I'm like, that's my spot in La Boca. His is a very loose watercolor rendition. I don't think he has anything but watercolor on it. Oh no, he has ink. He says he has ink. Duh. Put the ink on when it was wet. So he painted it first. Maybe I'll try that next time. Paint it first and see what happens. Anyway, I thought that was pretty interesting. So I worked on my clothes a little bit. I will be finishing upstairs today and starting to think about sort of some solution to my watercolor stuff, my art stuff, because it's kind of taken over half the table, and it never really, because we don't have, you know, because we only have Aura coming over. No offense to Aura, but, you know, I just have to make room. I don't have to, you know, she doesn't care. So I have no reason to think my sister would care either, but it's time for that to have a place. And it's easy. I have a shelf in the living room where, you know, my everyday work stuff will fit. And all the other stuff can go somewhere in my room upstairs. So I need to do that. Well, I've been doing all my work in sketchbooks in the last couple weeks, so that's kind of cool. Although I do have one picture. I did the very first light layer for my series picture. That's the landscape. And I do want to do that, work on that painting too. See how that comes out in my, I haven't done any ink. I was thinking it was going to be just watercolor, which I haven't done too much of lately, since I'm into the urban sketching thing. Maybe I might go with like the picture on the La Boca, although it's a landscape, so we'll have a different feel with the loose colors and then the ink on top. We shall see. But it's been a while since I've done just a pure watercolor. Rambling and hardly saying anything. Anyway, so I have 2 days to get my house in order and pack. My plane leaves at like not noon-ish on Saturday. So Dennis will have to get up and drive me to the airport relatively early. My global entry has expired, so I won't have TSA pre-check, very likely. I'm flying on Southwest, which means I have to be very on the ball checking in tomorrow so that I don't, you know, because Southwest is first come, first serve. They don't assign seats. And so you have to check in right away to get, you know, they have A, B, C people. So you want to check in as early as you can to try to be an A person. And all that being the A person means is if you get there on time, you can be one of the first third of people to get on the plane, because even once you get to the airport, you have to stand in line behind the A if you want to be very first. So anyway, since I lost weight, I think the plane should be much more comfortable. And quite frankly, neither of the flights are that long. I mean, I'm flying to Chicago and then from Chicago to Boise. So I have to look and see what time I get there. Because I had some idea I got there at 6, but that would be 8 o'clock, and that would be in 8 hours, and I only have an hour in Chicago. I have to look. Anyway, thinking about my plane trip. I haven't been on a plane in a year and a half. And I'm looking forward to seeing my sister. It'll be fun. And I'm looking forward to sketching Boise. And I'm looking forward to going to her yarn shop and going to her art store and sitting on her patio or in her park, just chatting and knitting and sketching for a few days. Sounds like fun, doesn't it? And then she and I come back, and she's only here one night, and then and hopefully we'll be able to see our niece Ella, who's in Delaware, only an hour from us. So she's going to come up to see us, and before we head up to State College on Thursday. And we spend a few days in State College with the family, and then I drive her back to the airport from State College. So there will be some days probably without a vlog. Probably the day I drive her back to the airport for sure. And all the rest are going to be recorded live. So those of you who don't like the live ones, although my live ones are very similar to my edited ones, except they're not edited. But I try not to do the annoying things when I do things live that people do that annoy me. Anyway, so that's what's coming up for the next few days. But it is stunningly beautiful out here, so I will be spending all the time that I don't have to be cleaning out here, reading my books, sketching my sketches, knitting on my knitting. It's going to be a lovely day. And Dennis isn't mowing the lawn till tomorrow, so I can stay out here without being driven in from the noise, and to keep the dogs happy, because they're not allowed out when the mowing's happening, obviously. So today will be a lazy day, except for the cleaning part. It's not terrible. Nothing, you know, it's not a lot of work. My main thing is going to be figuring out what the heck to do with all my stuff. That seems to be, you know, my no-buy year, you know, I did buy a book. See, so my no-buy year is just a low, very low buy and buy used year. How about that? Low buy, no new stuff, no new, brand new stuff year. Maybe I should just rename it and quit kidding myself. I hope you are well. I really do. I'm feeling good. I slept well. I slept well last night. I slept well the night before, so I'm feeling good. So that's good. And I'll talk to you tomorrow. Please take good care of yourselves. Stay safe and stay sane.